So I have a lot of political conversations with painting contractors. And I'll be at a conference and I'll meet this person who has this view, that person that has the other view. And I'm always on the phone, always exchanging emails with painting contractors. I've worked with hundreds of them. I talk to thousands of them. And so I'm just always curious. Um, where do people stand ideologically? Where do people stand politically? And there's not a better time in the world to find out than an election year. And some people have asked, well, why would you do this? Because I'm curious. If you could survey every one of your painting clients and they return a survey and tell you who they're voting for, I think it would allow you to look at your clients a different way and maybe adjust some of the things that you do or just feel like you know your very best clients better. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through why people are voting for the candidates that they are voting for, the number one reasons as far as I can tell. And then I'm going to talk to you about, who supports whom in the presidential race. Is it Trump or is it Biden? Now, in full disclosure, I only sent out one email to my list, just one. And once the results came back and I got almost 200 respondents, I'll talk through the numbers here in a moment, I didn't want to send a text message and another email. I just didn't think there was any need to. I didn't think that the numbers that are here are going to change very much. So I'm just going to go with this small sample size of 183 people out of my list that immediately returned the survey without a lot of prodding or poking. So let's talk about why people vote for the candidates that they vote for, at least what painters say. And the first thing I want to go over is we can go over Joe Biden, and I'm going to link to the documentation of who's voting for whom and why, just the raw survey data. So you can take a look at it. It doesn't have any identifying information in there. It just has a name of a candidate and why they're voting for them. So if you think that I have mischaracterized some of this stuff, you can look at it and say, well, I don't agree with that. I think, it's a little bit different, but I don't have time to break all this down 1,000 different ways. So I'm just going to tell you my impressions of this. You can look at it and tell me if you think something differently. So the first reason people are voting for Joe Biden, at least is the way I read this, is they don't like Trump. They hate his guts. I go through here and I'll just read some of these things to you. Ability to unify the country, which is maybe thinking he can't. Bringing the country together, stop the visceral language. Getting Trump out of office. Honesty, integrity, have an actual adult in the office. Integrity of the country. Leadership and values. Trump has neither. Not having to hear Trump say stupid things all the time. Hey, I'd like a little bit of that too. Stop Trump from creating full-blown dictatorship. The overall divisiveness of our country. Trump lies. His 400 million debt he has owned. He's racist and arrogant. Who isn't these days? Those are the number one reasons. When I start putting tick marks beside things, it's mainly just like they don't like Trump. And Trump's, he's got a big personality. He's very direct. Everybody wishes he's very effective, but he's also very, he could tone it down a little bit. I agree. The second one that came in, other than that, because I really could not find any other pattern here other than this other two things, was coronavirus is on here, but it's only a handful of Biden voters said that they're worried about coronavirus. So interesting there. And what else? There's a couple of climate change things in here, safety, but that's about it. It's mainly, it seems to be personality. So when you look at Trump voters that are painters, painting contractors, the economy, it's the economy, stupid. Economy, it is the biggest issue. It's like a page and a half of respondents. Freedom and liberty is probably the next thing that I see here as a pattern. The economy, freedom, and liberty. It's a lot easier to sort these out because of the way that people put them down. Taxes. taxes, a big deal to Trump voters. Um, Stopping socialism, right to life, the Constitution, the Republic, uh, better trade deals. I didn't think that one would make it in there. That's just one response, though. Healthcare, illegal immigration. Mainly, if I could put it this way, economy taxes personal liberty. Economy taxes personal liberty. I'll let you look at this and make up your mind. But out of the 183 people that returned this survey, 78.69% are voting for Trump and 21.31% are voting for Biden. So more or less, if you lined up 10 painters, 8 of them are voting for Trump, 2 of them are voting for Biden. And I'll, again, just link to this in the blog piece so you can make up your mind. I've just always wanted to know, and it kind of makes sense, right? You're a small business owner. I mean, typically conservative government's a lot friendlier to you than liberal government. And it's just true. If you're a small business owner, I've been one for a long time, and it was not a positive environment for the 8 years that Obama was in there. He did not make you feel like you mattered. You know, his whole "you didn't build that" remark. I mean, he meant that. I feel that's just my opinion, and I can understand the economy's done better under Trump, so that's a big issue over there. And you know, the painting industry is 97.3% male in ownership, and we come from blue collar we come from blue collar backgrounds, myself included. My dad put on vinyl tops for most of his life, and I grew up in rural America, and so I very much have that sense of traditional Christian values, and all that's kind of pretty baked in the cake. And as if anyone didn't know, I vote for Donald Trump myself, and will vote for him either tomorrow or Tuesday. But I love my Joe Biden supporting friends. I've got lots of them out there, people that are members of our group, folks that I hang out and drink a beer with. I may completely disagree with you on matters of policy, but that doesn't mean we can't go have a good time. It doesn't mean we can't help each other. And so one thing that I do miss, it seemed like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, you could talk about politics and nobody had an aneurysm or had to go hide in a safe space or whatever. But that's it, guys. So it looks like about 8 out of 10 painting contractors, if you see them, they're voting for Trump, and about 2 out of 10 are voting for Biden. So there you have it. I don't know what else to tell you. I was just curious and wanted to find out for my own purposes. So whether you vote for Trump or whether you vote for Biden, by all means, get out there and vote. Drag a buddy, drag a friend. Many of you have painting companies that you have a whole bunch of employees, and it would be my recommendation to you that on election day, this coming Tuesday, that you get as many of the men and women that work for you that aren't going to vote, and you take a half day and you load them all up in the truck or the van, and you get them to their respective polling places so they can pull the lever for whoever they want to. But I think the painting industry needs to be heard in this election. So get out there and vote. If you got a little bit of money laying around, put it toward the candidate that you think should win. Take care, guys. Hope you have an awesome election day. And I hope the economy is roaring on the other side of this election. I hope things are good for our industry. Talk to you later.